أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله عليه الصلاة والسلام، وهو سيد الخلق وخاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين. أما بعد، يقول الله عز وجل: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. كما يقول الله عز وجل: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. اتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. ويقول الله عز وجل: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. اللهم اجعلنا من الفائزين والتائبين. اللهم انصر إخواننا في غزة، فلسطين، لبنان ومشارق الأرض ومغاربها. As we can see, الظلم كثر والفتنة كثر. Subhanallah, when we look at these things, we need to think all the floods that is going on, the wars, the killing of innocent people, and nobody raising a finger about to defend the life and innocent creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we Muslims, we have an obligation to do something. And we say to do something, there is so much to do. It's not about violence, it's about standing for the rights of others. Doesn't matter who they are, especially when we see our brothers and sisters in Gaza for a year now on a change. Now it's Lebanon and Syria and parts of Iraq, parts of Yemen. Now we see the floods in here in America, subhanallah. You know, when you go from North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, subhanallah, people lost their children, their houses. And we have parts in mountains of North Carolina that never had the flood they had it. Now you have in Morocco, you have in, Bosnia, you have in so many. And this is alamatullahi azza wa jal. This is a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But yet we are content and we feel that nothing going to happen to me. Which is extremely dangerous, this thinking. that nothing is going to happen to you. There is so much could happen to you. Either good, either bad. Only Allah knows. But for the mu'min, anything that happened in his life, and he says, Alhamdulillah, it is good. But the subject of today is about the foundation of the Muslim community. It is the family. And unfortunately, the family has not been protected for so many reasons, and is being fought against to keep the Muslim family together. And by invading our mind through social media, through certain behavior that became acceptable in the community. From it's okay to have zina. It's okay for a girl to have a boyfriend and a boy to have a girlfriend. It is okay for so many things that became acceptable, and even in some Muslim countries, some ministers are pushing to change the rules that if you go to the hotel you should have a marriage certificate. They are saying it's a freedom for the person to do what they want to do. But no nation could stand if the family has been destroyed. And basically you check at it a little bit at the time. And unfortunately we're all falling into the trap of Shaytan. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set for us parameters in about our marriages, about our families, for our women, where they should be at, unless the end of the world. And unfortunately today, men and women are going out there running in the middle of the fitna, and we're talking this is the 21st century. The wife with so much makeup and looks so good going out the door, but she's inside the house, she doesn't do that for her husband. And vice versa. And this is not a topic that has to be discussed only today. This is a whole thing that should be a conference and should be discussed and back and forth and have a conversation to see how we can protect our family and our children. Last weekend I was in Houston. There was a conference by many scholars that put so much effort and study the things that is going on in America to the Muslim family. And the challenges that they are faced by our youth, that they're becoming scared from marriages and don't want to get engaged in marriage. Unfortunately, what we do as a community, we have this problem, but I can sit in a parking lot or in a coffee shop and discuss it, but I'm not engaged to solve it or learn what could I do to change the situation for myself and for my family. And this applies to the man and the woman. And this is a very serious topic. You can leave and say, my family, I'm okay, but you have children, you're a part of the community, you're part of this tree. And this tree has multiple leaves and multiple branches. So if one of the branches is giving L, it's going to affect the rest of the branches and the rest of the tree. What we became is about me, I don't care what happened to the rest. This is not how the Muslim should ever think. If my brother and sister have been slaughtered in Gaza or Lebanon or whatever it might be, I should feel pain. The last thing I do, I should make dua. If a member of my community is going through a trouble, or sister in the community, I should feel pain. I should do the best I can. And this is what we need to reflect. Each one of you have a responsibility in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each one of you will be asked, that include me, you, anyone in this community. What we become is about pointing the finger or going to social media and think that is where we're going to solve our problem. Or we'll run to somebody who is not going to keep your life secret. If you cannot keep your own secret, you think somebody else can win to? He will listen to you once you leave. He doesn't know the amana is between two people. If I have a conversation with you, you cannot turn around and talk about what I talk to you except by my permission. Otherwise, it's a khiyana of the amana. You betray the trust. And I think it is very important for us Muslims to understand the value of trust, and there is difference between al-khiyana wa sariqa. So we must go back and say, what is the purpose of me? Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, when he was created, and Allah made the angel bow to him, for a while when he was in Jannah, he felt lonely. What did he do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created a woman from him to be his companion. Now, we're not going to go to the story about the apple and all this. This is not the subject of that. Allah created man and woman for a good reason. Whatever people are doing today and changing their body and saying, I'm a man, I became a woman, or I become a tree, I became a dog, that is not acceptable in Islam. It is not acceptable in Islam. Or we must teach our children that it is not acceptable in Islam. Dhakar wa untha, male and female, straight. You have issues, and there's the hukm of the khunta. If a person was born with two parts. But again, this is not the subject, and I urge each one to get in and try to learn these things and engage our children to understand. Not to say it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's the difference that we live in the same country and the same community, and everyone has their own parameters. But it's not for me to accept whatever contradictory to my belief and Allah has decreed for me to follow, which is Shari'atullahi Azza wa Jal. And Allah sent the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to deliver a message and to guide us on how to prosper in the dunya so you can enter Jannah arduha as-samawati wal ard. And unfortunately, brothers, we are not connected to so much of these things. We're so disconnected. And if you want, we can arrange a meeting and we can sit here and have a book from the Fatawa and things that spend the whole weekend that people took them a year. So they brought the Imam, or done for the Imam to go back to the communities. But not all the Imams came in America, because some Imams are pushing for this modern Islam, which have nothing to do with Islam. There's only one Islam. Because you try to fit into something. Your car is being created in a certain way. So the engineer put where the oil goes, where the gas goes, where the water goes, and goes on and forth. You can't mix things up, because if you mix up, cars not go. But we Muslims, when it comes to Shari'atullah Azza wa Jal, we are mixing things up and we expect a better result. Some people, as a psychiatrist says, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a better result or a different result, you must be either stupid or either you don't understand. Well, we Muslims are very smart, alhamdulillah. We have the knowledge, but we choose not to apply it, which makes it very dangerous. You know you have to pray 5 times a day. Why aren't you in the masjid? I'm asking myself anew, when I'm talking, all what I say is going to be held against us or for us when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not about judgmental situation. This is about opening our eyes and see clearly what's going on. How could we save ourselves and our children? Allah tells you to save yourself and your family that is from hellfire, that is fuel, people and stone. الزواج علاقة قائمة على المودة والرحمة ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا ليسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. Allah is telling you, He created from yourself in أنفسكم wife, لتسكنوا, that means sakina, peace, tranquility. وَجَعَلًا بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. There is a mercy and love, compassion, understanding, even in a time of arguments. But it does not happen today. there is mistrust, عدم الثقة, there is deceivement, there is khiyana, betrayal of the marriage, and the list is long. But we're holding on sometimes to this marriage because of financial situation. I don't want to go through the process of divorce because some reason or the other, my family gonna laugh at me, I'm gonna lose my business, I'm gonna lose my financials. But your sanity, your integrity, it is worth more than anything. But there are solutions in Islam. If this ayah tells me, mawadda wa rahmah, I have to be merciful to the other part of me that I'm engaged in a marriage with. And it applies to men and women. And you have to create an environment for women as a Muslim. Yes, she can go to work, but there is a way that she can go to work. And there is the way how she can do the work. That woman have to follow what mandate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the best for that woman is to be home. And you can ask many American women that they are very successful, non-Muslim, and they tell you, I wish I could have stayed home. Because the disaster of leaving those kids alone or putting them in a daycare, especially a non-Muslim daycare, it's so dangerous, it's the destruction of the family. And I hope we understand and we roll up our sleeve how to save our family. شرح هذه الآية في هذه الآية يبين الله تعالى أن من آياته الكبرى هو خلق الزوجة من نفس الزوج لتكون سكنا له ويشير إلى أن العلاقة بين الزوجين يجب أن تكون مبنية على المودة والرحمة. This is very clear. I don't think you need to be genius. I don't think you should look fatwa and somebody is going to explain to you in detail. So Allah is telling you. And we can get to the divorce later on if things don't work out. And also in marriage it's الحق المتبادل. قال الله تعالى ولهن مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف وللرجال عليهن درجة والله عزيز حكيم. في هذه الآية يوضح الله تعالى أن للمرأة حقوقا مثل حقوق الرجل إلا أن الرجل له درجة أعلى في بعض الأمور وهي مسؤولية القيادة والنفاق. So it is very clear. It's equal responsibility. And their rights are equal only in certain things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala فضل بعضكم على بعض في القوام. قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضكم على بعض. So women are good in certain things and men is very good. But a car cannot have two drivers. It will crash. And today, sometimes you see the road is mixed. A woman becoming a man and a man becoming a woman, which is terrible. Now, I mean, we can say we're modern. Allah dictates to you, not me, and not society. In America in the 60s and even the early 70s, the woman stayed home. We're talking about the American dream. The man went to work carrying a box, lunch box, the metal one with a little thermos in it and a little sandwich. That wife kisses him in the morning, I love you, honey, and he comes back home by 4 o'clock and they found the dinner together and they spend all together. And woman is taking care of the children and guiding them to be the leader of the future. It is your role to make money? Yes, it is. It is your role to drive for success? Yes, it is. But not at the expense of destroying your family and have to destroy the mandate that Allah has given you, because you would not have had an excuse to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And unfortunately, we are not thinking. Something happened to us. Just like the illusion. This war, as you see, لِيَمِيزَ اللَّهُ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ. It is clear who is good and stand for the rights of humanity and who is evil. It is a clear fact. There is nothing into it. أيضا الله سبحانه وتعالى الاحترام المتبادل والعدل بين الزوجين قال تعالى وعاشرهن بالمعروف إن كرهتهن فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا ويجعل الله فيه خيرا كثيرا. الله تعالى يأمر الزوج بمعاملة زوجته بالمعروف حتى إذا حدثت مشكلات أو كره شيء من سلوكها فيجب أن يكون هناك صبر وتفهم لأن الله قد يضع في هذا الأمور خيرا كثيرا. It is patience. وَيَفْرُ اللَّهُ صَبْرٍ أَشْرًا. He didn't tell you what it is that Allah is going to give you for your patience. Some scholars wanting to explain books, the order of patience. But we shouldn't get mad. Sometimes a woman passes the respect to her husband that she wants to trigger the point of reaction. But then here comes the qawama. How to deal with this situation. And today we have experts, Muslim experts, in marriage counseling, in arbitration, how to deal with conflict. But you have to be honest when you come to the table. So we need to go back and reflect on that. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم توصوا بالنساء خيرا فإنهن عندكن عوان ليس تملكون منهن شيء إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة. هذا في صحيح البخاري. في هذا الحديث يدعو النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لحسن المعاملة مع النساء ويحذر من ظلمهن أو قسوة القلب تجاههن وشدة على ضرورة العناية بهن. And this is a very clear hadith. يعني you should exercise all things except if there is a fahisha, something they do. But one key I want to say. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يغفر الذنوب كل الذنوب إلا المجاهد. Allah conceals your dunub. Conceal what you mean. Maybe you committed zina, maybe she committed zina. Whatever might be, it's been concealed. And it is up to you not to expose yourself and say, I have done this much haram. Or sister, she can brag about what she did and she done this much haram. Allah does not forgive such things because Allah concealed it for you. If Allah wants to expose you, as He's exposing the dhulm and transgression today in the world, He could do the same thing to you. Allah gives you room to repent. In Allah ghafurun rahim liman taba wa amana wa amila salihan. We all face challenges. We all do. But only the person who has taqwa in Allah Azza wa Jal can solve the problem of marriage. If a woman does not fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a ghadab of Allah on her and she will not enter Jannah. If she disobey her husband, this is hadith, this is clear. She can say the 20th century, she can say whatever she wants to say. But this is clear. But also the man should not oppress his wife. Jealousy has limits. If a man does not have jealousy of his wife, there is something wrong. Because you're jealous because she's part of you. You care for her, you love her, you want to protect her honor because she's your honor. She's everything for us as a Muslim. But for people who want the woman not to have those qualities, they're making her. You tell me when you look at the commercial on TV, what is a woman wearing a bikini has to do with a car? If she's not being treated as a piece of merchandise. What is the woman dressed up like that outside today with all those leggings tight? The physical of her body is detailed. This is how we karamna al-mar'ah. This is how we made our women. And then she throws a piece of cloth on her head. That is not hijab. And you cannot stay quiet about it. You have to discuss it and you have to ادفع بالتي هي أحسن and try to help this person understand either our daughters, our wives, our sisters, our mothers. We cannot just point the finger and say that's haram, you're going to Jahannam. We don't know. And we know the hadith. كم من مؤمن يبقى له درعا ويعمل بعمل أهل النار ويدخل النار وكم من كافر يبقى له درعا ويعمل بعمل أهل الجنة ويدخل الجنة. This is a very clear fact. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, how many of you will have an arm length to enter Jannah? And he's referring to us, the Muslim. And you do the work of people of hellfire, and you enter hellfire, and vice versa. How many disbelievers will have one arm length to enter Jahannam and do the work of people of Jannah and enter Jannah. So be careful of pointing the finger. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم النكاح من سنتي فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. So it is mandate. It is the sunnah of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم Ishadullah, to get married. Don't get scared. Yes, people are making you scared. There are other ways that you can enter this marriage peacefully, and this applies to a man and woman, and that's why it's called عقد النكاح, the contract of marriage. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لكم استغفروه والغفور الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. Our time is almost up, so it's not time. This is a long conversation. It needs to be discussed. We need to sit down and create an open conversation for brothers and sisters to be able, young and old, and to learn how to navigate this, because people are fighting you not to get married. They are pushing you to the zina, they are pushing you to the adultery. The Prophet ﷺ says, خيركم خيركم لأهلي وأنا خيركم لأهلي. This is the example of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم says, من تزوج قد أحرز النصف دينه فليتق الله في النصف الآخر. الزواج في الإسلام يعتبر حماية للفرد من الشهوات ويساهم في تقوية الدين إذ يتطلب التزاما وإحسانا في العلاقة الزوجية. This is very clear that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he's talking about these things, and we all know the hadith, the famous hadith, تنكح المرأة لأربع, you marry a woman for 4 reasons, her beauty, her wealth, her inheritance, or heritage, whatever, but you marry the one that has deen, because the deen has so much value. Even in business, I have to choose somebody as a partner who has taqwallahi azza wa jal, that if I am not there, he's going to protect the business that we are all together in. If he's not there, I'm going to protect the business. And all these things in relationship has to be built on taqwallahi azza wa jal. So we have to be careful. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, إلى أن الزواج في الإسلام يكون مبنيا على الأمانة والثقة. Trust. That I trust you. And you trust me. When I leave my home, the woman should not bring anybody into my house, including my brother if I'm not present. And the mistake we make, we go overseas, we get married to a young girl, beautiful, mashallah, because you'll be looking for this one, and you leave her there. With who? With your parents and your brother. And you disappear for 2 years, and it's like she doesn't have shahwa, and you don't have shahwa. I don't know what you were doing here for 2 years. You were fasting. And this is not funny, but I'm telling you, I have a situation like this. When somebody come and tell me, I left my wife for 5 years, I said, what were you doing here for 5 years? Why did you get married to the sister and leave her there for 5 years? Don't you want your wife to be next to you and you're next to her? What are the challenges you face? No, I want to save the money. But you're saving the money, you're not building a family. You expose somebody to a haram and you're exposing yourself to haram. Unfortunately, this is our situation today. وليس مجرد تأكيدات بسيطة مفاهيم غير واضحة. And this is why we go back. It's called عقد النكاح. It is a marriage contract. عقد البيع والشراء. It's a contract for sale and buy. It goes on and forth. So when people come into a marriage today to protect all this stuff up, it is what they call a prenup in America. It is being discussed by these scholars, and they are very scholars, and they say it is right now permissible to do a prenup. A woman can ask for this, and a man can ask for this, and everybody's free about the asset. I had built $1 million, I'm going to marry a woman, she's going to take half. And vice versa. She must be wealthy, and if she's divorced, you can take her half. This is America. And we're trying to change the Muslim way. But you can set up a contract, the parameters. How are you going, in the case of there is a divorce, how are you going to build children? What is your obligation? What's her obligation? No, you don't want her to work. No, she wants to work. And you go into this pre-marriage counseling to come to the conclusion, and it will be a binding. It will be reviewed by a committee and then being given to a lawyer to make sure it is valid in your state. And the reason I'm saying this, so we don't get scared of marriage, because today's society and a problem. We have a sister that accused her husband of Tisab, that he raped her, and he's been sentenced to 11 years in jail. And then again, you need to understand the law, how you come to this conclusion. And in Islam, you cannot force yourself even on your wife. So we must understand the Prophet ﷺ, how he was a thinker, how he was a leader, how he was the best husband, the best ruler, the best. So let me learn our beloved Prophet, how he dealt with every situation. And the woman that plays when her husband needs are there, the wrath of Allah comes on her. But if she doesn't want to, when you want to, and this is if this stuff needs a serious conversation, because there are many problems in our community that we must discuss, because sometimes we're going with culture, and culture is destroying us and keeping us away from what the deen is. And there is no tashaddud fi deen. You cannot be this, I am this and you are that, and al-wasatiyya fi Islam. Al-wasatiyya has its rules and the way how you should engage. Because we have, if you take Islam with strength, will break you, because you cannot compete with Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ did so many things to create a balance in our life. We have to close, so I hope that we can come to a solution, bi'idhnillahi azza wa jalla, and we can sit and discuss this thing. I have the book, I'm more than happy to create a conference and discuss this and bring other people in here. I'm going to close with this. عندما يحدث الاختلاف بين الزوجين، من المهم أن يتعامل الطرفان بروح من الاحترام المتبادل والتفاهم والحوار بناء على الإسلام يقدم لنا إرشادات هامة حول كيفية التعامل مع خلافات الزواج. And this is extremely important. We come to conflict, let me go to get a lawyer. Lawyer is $500 an hour. You look at your asset, he could drag you in the court system. You could spend $250,000 to $500,000. Easy. So it has to be patient, as-sabr wa tasamuh in this situation. You have to start patient with each other. It is give and take relationship. How could we compromise? I need to compromise. If I love my brother in Islam and I'm in business with him, I have to compromise. And he has to compromise. So we come to the middle. It's not about me. It's called in America win-win situation. I win and you win. We both win at the same time. وَالتَّقْوَى هُمَا أَسَاسُ السَّعَادَةِ الزَّوْجِيَّةِ. And in here, it is very important. We go back to taqwa. It is the foundation of our relationship with Allah, and to give a successful relationship with each other as a Muslim and as a husband and wife and with our children. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وبارك فيما اعطيت وقنا شر ما عليك. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا. اللهم اهد على هذا البلد الاسلام وحبب اليهم الاسلام والمسلمين واجعلنا نكون قدوة لهم. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكف عنا سيئاتنا وارحم امواتنا واشف مرضانا. اللهم اهدنا واهد نساءنا واولادنا وازواجنا واحفظنا جميعا من الفتن وكل سوء. اللهم انصر اخواننا في لبنان وفي فلسطين وفي العراق وفي سوريا. اللهم احفظ اخواننا في كل مكان. اللهم ألف ما بين قلوبنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ووفقنا لما يحب ويرضى. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the righteous, to unite our families and protect our families from all the challenges that we are facing in the West. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide these people to Islam and make us a guidance to them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep our families together and protect our wives, our daughters and our children, and protect our communities. We We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on our parents and loved ones that departed and returned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala حسن الخاتمة. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة قنا عذاب النار. صلى الله عليه وسلم. But before I close, brothers, please, when you finish, make sure you go straight to your car. We have a shared parking lot. And when you stand out there talking, you're disturbing other people's business. As a Muslim, we should have the best of manners and be considerate of others. So we don't create a conflict for us and difficulty for us as a Muslim. Let us work for the better, for things for all of us.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا استقيموا يرحمكم الله واخشعوا في صلاتكم صلاتكم بعليكم لأنفسكم يكونون بكل مكان خاصة في السجود. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Can you please this box is donate generously. The masjid is in need of has a lot of financial expenses. Please donate generously. We still have few spots in the weekly program for the kids and the Quran. We we're working, we have a brother who has ijaza, he's from Mauritania, and he just came in. He's willing to teach boys. If we have any boy that ages maybe 11 and up, we can set up a time for him to teach them, Tahfidh Quran, bi'idhnillahi azza wa jal. And also we have a program for Tahfidh Quran Sunday, and we're going to do Saturday and Sunday. That's a different program, inshallah. And I urge you to volunteer and get involved. Wherever you are at, the message is not for you to come and leave and forget about it. Each one of you is an asset. You can offer concept, math, tutoring, Arabic. You can offer so much. We have a place. We just a great program for our children, so they can be successful and trust themselves. بإذن الله عز وجل. بارك الله فيكم. نحبكم في الله. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.